Hi everyone, and welcome back to Ruth Reacts to Books, Season 1, Episode 12. In this episode, we are reviewing the book Shadowfever by Karen Marie Moning. I'm going to start by reading you the cover, and then I'll tell you a little bit about what I thought about this book, but just a little background. This is the 5th book in a series. I was introduced to this series by my wonderful former mother-in-law, Dorothy, and the basic idea behind the series is that the main character, whose name is Michaela, goes to Ireland to try to figure out who murdered her twin sister, and when she gets there, she finds out that there's this whole world of fairies that she didn't know was real, and she becomes embroiled in a lot of things based on that world and trying to figure out kind of how her sister was connected to it all. She's kind of a bimbo airhead type person when she first goes there. She's like all obsessed with fashion and looking good and like wearing cute clothes and shoes, and that's kind of how her life's been. She's had a very easy life, and so she has you can imagine, a lot of character development that happens as we proceed through the 5 books to get to this one. So read the book jacket and then we'll get to the review. Evil is a completely different creature, Mac. Evil is bad that believes it's good. Michaela Lane was just a child when she and her sister Alina were given up for adoption and banished from Ireland forever. 20 years later, Alina is dead, and Mac has returned to the country that expelled them to hunt her sister's murderer. But after discovering that she descends from a bloodline both gifted and cursed, Mac is plunged into a secret history, an ancient conflict between humans and immortals who have lived concealed among us for thousands of years. What follows is a shocking chain of events with devastating consequences, and now Mac struggles to cope with grief while continuing her mission to acquire and control the Sinsar Dube, a book of dark forbidden magic scribed by the mythical Unseelie King containing the power to create and destroy worlds. In an epic battle between humans and fae, the hunter becomes the hunted when the Sinsar Dube turns on Mac and begins mowing a deadly path through those she loves. Who can she turn to? Who can she trust? Who is the woman haunting her dreams? More important, who is Mac? And what is the destiny that she glimpses in the black and crimson designs of an ancient tarot card? From the luxury of the Lord Master's penthouse to the sordid depths of an Unseelie nightclub, from the erotic bed of her lover to the terrifying bed of the Unseelie King, Mac's journey will force her to face the truth of her exile and to make a choice that will either save the world or destroy it. So I gave the book 4 stars. If I could give half stars, I might have given it like 3.5 or 3.75, so kind of leaning down there. What I'm going to do is tell you 2 things that I liked about this book and 1 thing that I didn't like about it. So one of the things I really liked about this book was that it ended up tying up a lot of the key plot points that we've sort of been working towards through the entire series. So this is the 5th book. It tied up a lot of things, and we really found out like the answers to a lot of questions. Sometimes it's frustrating in books when you still don't have that many answers when you get to the end of a book, but this one was full of really interesting answers and very solid character development for the main characters, including Michaela, but also a couple others that are kind of key people in this book and in this story. It really gave us more of a look into who they were, and it was really, really interesting. So I really liked that part of the book. The other part that I liked was the ending. It was spectacular. I could not have imagined it. I don't know how she thought it up, but oh my gosh, it was so exciting and so unexpected, and the things that happened, like I couldn't have imagined them. I was trying to figure out, who is this and what's that through the whole book, and I just really didn't know. And the ending was really, really, really good, and I was really happy with it. So definitely kind of why it got bumped up to the 4 stars rating. So the thing I didn't like about the book, as you can tell from the description in the front cover, there is some sex in this book, from the erotic bed of so-and-so to so-and-so. So this person has some very sometimes backwards ideas about sex, I think, that just make my heart sort of hurt sometimes. Like, oh my gosh, like why are you, I don't know. So she definitely thinks about sex a lot, and a lot of the people are very obsessed with sex in the book, and like in some of the scenes, it's like, oh, this is a room where when you go in there, you just think about sex all the time. You just have to have it. That's sort of annoying to me, and I understand like she can write the book however she wants. It's her book. But as a reader, I'm like, okay, let's move on to something more interesting that's not so horrifying, I guess. And in the last book, in the fourth book, she ended up getting raped by some of these fairies. And so I understand, like, that happens and it's part of books and stories. But for me, I would always prefer a book that maybe had less of that. I understand that it sometimes adds value to books. I have to say, my very favorite author is named Nora Roberts, and she absolutely has sex in every single book that she writes. And I love all her books. And I think mostly in her books, people have a pretty strong female attitude when it comes to kind of taking care of themselves. And not that this character is happy about those things happening. She's certainly not, but she certainly acts nicer towards the people that did it than I would if I was in her situation. So that is the book. If this book was a food, I would say that it would be like a really rich chocolate cake, maybe with raspberries, with layers of like chocolate and cream and raspberries. And then on the top for like the spectacular ending, maybe it has like really good decorations like they have on these fancy baking shows. So that's what I got for you today. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to. My kids are pretty excited that I have 10 subscribers. Until later, Facebook, see you.